Many people are saying that Donald Trump is a revolutionary president. One of those many people is, of course, the Donald himself.
250 years after the first patriots stood and fought at Lexington and Concord, we're in the midst of another kind of revolution, a revolution of winning and a revolution of common sense. Common sense.
Another one of those many people is me. But I think President Trump is being far too modest. Yes, you heard that right. His revolution goes beyond just common sense and winning. Trump 2.0 has the potential to transform American governance at a more fundamental level by removing meaningful checks on executive authority. But will the revolution succeed? It will come down to the fate of those institutions President Trump is trying to defang. So let's look at which institutions are holding, which have already broken, and which remain in play. First, to what's holding. Our king-hating founders envisioned a decentralized government that gave the states significant power. Your civics teacher called it federalism. And as of today, we've seen relatively little federal interference in state governance. Recent news out of Los Angeles notwithstanding. And the military, though led by a politically aligned secretary, remains resistant to unlawful orders. Most importantly, the judiciary remains independent. Lower courts have struck down volley after volley of executive orders, and the Supreme Court has pushed back on White House overreach, including recent rulings on tariffs and immigration. Now to what's broken. The legislative branch. Congress no longer functions as a check on the presidency. Impeachment has become political theater, not a constraint. The GOP is now a vehicle for Trump, not a party with internal dissent. And Democrats, remember them, are in total disarray. Gone is any form of meaningful ethical oversight of the Trump administration. The founders envisioned Congress as the first branch among equals. Just a few months into Trump's second term, it's become the first branch to break. And finally, what remains in play? Keep an eye on the power ministries, the Department of Justice, the FBI, the IRS. They're facing internal purges and external pressure to serve political aims. Don't expect them to open any significant investigations against the executive or its allies. Also keep an eye on the health of U.S. elections, still free and fair, but increasingly viewed as corrupt, which makes them a growing target for political interference. And remember, just because an institution is currently holding strong, that doesn't mean that it will hold indefinitely. And that brings me back to the judiciary. Setting aside one highly publicized exception, the Trump administration has continued to follow Supreme Court rulings, and I see no immediate indication of that changing. Like I said, it's early days. What happens once President Trump, the self-described revolutionary of winning, gets tired of losing in court?